everybody, it's Beth. Welcome to Infinite Garden. This week I am just doing a chatty get ready with me. I've got a family party to attend later this afternoon. I'm trying a couple of products from Lisa Eldridge for the very first time. I received them yesterday. Got a chance to get into them a little bit last night, but this is going to be my first in earnest trial of an eyeshadow and 2 lip products from Lisa Eldridge. So if a low-key casual hangout session sounds good to you, please stay tuned. I'm just going to get ready as normal with my normal stuff. I'll list what I'm using down below and then I'll get into the Lisa Eldridge products. Everything else I'm using, I've used on my channel before, I've talked about before, so I'm not going to get into it here. My hair is going crazy a little bit. I thought I would just, let you know what's going on with me. I spent the last 2 weeks away. I don't think I've ever taken 2 weeks in a row off from posting a video on my channel. I just hit a wall. I didn't really mean to take 2 weeks off, but I wound up having some very real technical difficulties related to weather that knocked my power and internet out when I would have normally filmed and edited a video. So I got kind of like played by the weather. Anyway, the first week I took off, we were on vacation. Every year we take the same trip. Basically, we go up to a cottage in northern Michigan that has a beach and we spend a week just relaxing. We, spend time in the water. We check out some of the local hiking trails, just watch the sunset, rock hound, get lunch, that type of thing. It's just extremely relaxing. And in the past, I've filmed videos while I was there. I think last year I was celebrating reaching 1,000 subscribers and I did some Ask Me Anything question answering from the beach last year. This year I thought about doing that, but I didn't really have mental and emotional capacity for it, and I'll explain why in a little bit. I've just been kind of overwhelmed by some of the stuff that's going on in my life. And then we got home on Friday night and I thought I would film and edit a video the following day on Sunday, but we had a massive storm. It knocked out power for 24 hours. So we were actually how it goes when you get back from a vacation. We had piles of suitcases everywhere. We needed to go grocery shopping, but we couldn't because we didn't, have a fridge that was working. So what we did have in the freezer, my husband shuttled to his office to get that at least protected. And then it was just a matter of trying to, manage the aftermath of the storm. So I'm sorry about that. That one wasn't necessarily planned. That was kind of a just reaction to the storm. As far as what's going on in my life, everything's fine. I don't want to give the impression that it's not fine, but what's been going on, I'll share what I can, is that I'm in the middle of a job change, which is a really big deal. For the last 5 years, I have worked for the city of Detroit. And I haven't talked about that much on my channel. I've mentioned that I work as a public servant and that I live in Detroit, but I haven't given, that exact detail before. And part of that is because I've been in an official position at the city and I didn't want my channel to in any way sort of cross-pollinate with some of the official work that I do at the city. I don't know, I just don't want to blur the lines there. But now that I'm leaving, I feel like it's maybe okay to reflect back on it a little bit. So for the first 15 years of my career, I first was a high school English teacher. That's what I did right after college and grad school. I taught high school English. When I was 25, I ended up leaving teaching and going to work at a commercial real estate firm in San Francisco. If you guys have ever heard of Sam Zell, he was a legendary real estate titan, and I worked for his firm in San Francisco. And then for the next for 15 years then I worked for him and then for another international company out of Texas. And then when I moved to Michigan, I worked for a smaller regional firm here. So I had 15 years of real estate, private sector real estate experience, mostly working in commercial and primarily investment. Just like if you're into, if you know about real estate or investment in real estate, it's kind of the same everywhere. You're managing properties, developing properties, buying and selling properties to make a buck. And that's what I did for 15 years and moved into the executive level space in that realm. And at year 15, I was working on a redevelopment of a apartment building in Detroit. And while I was working for the private sector on this redevelopment of this apartment building, I ended up having a reason to interact with the city of Detroit because there was concern about some of the folks that were in the building and if they would be protected, some of the folks with lower incomes, if after the redevelopment, if they'd be protected in the building or if they'd be pushed out due to, rapidly increasing rents. And so in the process of working through that with the city, I was recruited in. And for the last 5 years and almost 6 years, I have been working for the city of Detroit, doing real estate work, helping with redeveloping the city. I'm sure a lot of you may know that Detroit had a very famous and much covered bankruptcy. It was the largest municipal bankruptcy in the United States history. They filed for bankruptcy in 2013 and I think it was resolved in 2014. I moved to Detroit in November 2014 and I started working for the mayor in 2018, January 2018. So that's what I've been doing the last almost 6 years, has been, working on affordable housing development and mixed use development in the neighborhoods, helping to support, neighborhood developers, neighborhood businesses find an opportunity to invest and be a part of the reinvestment in Detroit. I could talk at length about how the city got there and what it takes to, change the fortune of a city with the city, not just, to the city, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. And man, recently I saw a job back in the private sector that caught my eye. And I applied for a job. I had been, in my role, I end up meeting a lot of people in the private sector who need support in the city, to see their projects through or whatever. So I've had a lot of opportunity when I've been at the city to talk to folks about maybe going to work for them or whatever. And what I didn't want to do during this time was go work for someone just like what I'd worked for before. I just didn't want to do the same thing I've been doing, and often the opportunities that I was being presented with looked and felt a lot like my past. And I don't know, I just was looking for something that incorporated a lot of what I had learned at the city, and my lens widened working for a city versus working for just a real estate owner. When you start to think about all of the components that go into the municipal unit of government, it starts to broaden your thinking, I guess. And I didn't really just want to go back into a local real estate firm and work for their office. You know what I mean? I didn't find anything in this time that excited me, that made me feel like it was worth leaving my position at the city, which I was really enjoying. It wasn't until in April I saw an opportunity become available that really kind of checked all my boxes for me, and I threw my hat in the ring for an opportunity that's in the city of Detroit, but it's not for the city of Detroit. And I went through a 3-month process of applying for and interviewing for, preparing for the whole bit for this job. And right as we were leaving town on the way up north, I found out that I got it. They called me and said they were going to be making an offer to me, and they wanted to know if that was something that I wanted. And I was really excited. So I went, the week away on vacation was largely spent kind of finalizing some of those details and then just adjusting to the fact that I was going to be ending my experience at the city of Detroit, closing a chapter, all of these amazing people that I worked with and projects that I worked on, and all of the stuff that I was just really proud to be a part of, knowing that I was going to close the door on that chapter and move into a new experience. And part of that just pulled up a lot of emotions. I'm sure if you've ever been through a job change like that, you know what I mean. It just gave me a chance to really think about what I'd been doing, and I was kind of emotionally spent. It was perfect to be on vacation. I was able to float on a paddleboard and swim and all of the things that kind of relax and help you feel good about things and celebrate this opportunity that has come my way. So it's all good, but it's also like a lot, you know? So that is why I didn't really feel like I had capacity to film a video while I was up north. And then when I came home and my power was out, I just was too tired on Sunday, the day that I was, you know, expecting to be able to do laundry and reintegrate and get ready to start work again on Monday. I didn't have time to not do that and film a video. So sorry for the 2 weeks off, but that is what has been going on with me. The good news is that I am starting the new job in September. I'm actually giving myself some time in between. So I'm shutting down what I'm doing at the city, and then I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time in between so I can just rest and do yoga and maybe have lunch with people that I haven't been able to make time for. And then I'm hoping to maybe film a few more videos. So I hope to make it up to you with that when I have a little time off. I love making videos. I love it. It's so fun. It's my creative outlet. And I am looking forward to having a little more free time to be able to do that. And if all goes well, you will see a little bit more from me between now and the end of summer. Okay, if you watched my video about Pat McGrath's Mothership 11, I mentioned that instead of buying Mothership 11, I decided that I would try a different makeup artist and her products instead, and I decided I would pick up a couple of products from Lisa Eldridge, which I've done, and they are here, and I wanted to show you what I got. So I picked up an eyeshadow palette, and this is in the purple family. This is from Lisa Eldridge, and it is called Myth. And then I also picked up 2 lip products. I picked up one of the Velveteen liquid lip colors. I picked up the color Fawn. This is a neutral lip souffle. I also picked up a lipstick. I can't read right now what this one is called. The color is Le Mepris, and it is another kind of brownie beigey neutral. I'm excited to get into this. One of the things that immediately surprised me about the eyeshadow palette was that it was somewhat petite, but I really liked the colors. I hope that you can see. This is really a purple color story. Here it is swatched out. You have Nocturama in the Velvet formula. You have Faded Amethyst in the Metallic formula. Illusionism, which is this pink purple sparkle top coat. Victorian Trim, a vivid pinky shade in the Velvet formula. Then there's Mauve Decade, a lighter true mauve in the Velvet formula. And finally, Violet Stone, which is a vivid purple in the Velvet formula. This is the palette all swatched out. Very beautiful. When my mother was here and we were playing around with makeup, she got me thinking about color. You know, sometimes I am afraid of wearing color because I think it'll look so separate from my face. And it's interesting because my mother is not a big makeup wearer, but she pretty much always wears this lavender eye makeup and it always looks beautiful on her. And we have very similar eyes. We have a lot of similarities. She is my mom. I'm a little deeper than she is. She's a little paler and more cool than I am. But I also thought, well, gosh, you know, if that works for my mom, maybe it'll work for me. So it got me thinking, and that is why I picked this particular eyeshadow palette, and I'm excited to get into it. So I am going to a party in a couple of hours. This is a very casual party. It's at a family member's house. Starts at 4 p.m. It's a summer Saturday. This is not like a high glam occasion. So I'm going to be looking to use this palette to create a wearable look today that is flattering, but also a little festive because, you know, it is a party. So I think what I want to do is focus a little bit on some of the grayer tones. I'm going to stay away from these vivid ones. Maybe I'll use them a little bit, but I'm going to focus mostly on sort of the grayer toned, more sort of subdued shades just to see what that looks like on my eyes. So I do have my eyes primed. I have the Fenty primer. I'm gonna start with a fluffy brush from Patrick Ta and the shade Mauve Decade. And I'm just going to put that in the crease and sort of define my eye shape, which is usually how I start my makeup looks. So, okay, this is really lovely, very subtle. So I did 3 passes at Mauve Decade with a fluffy brush. Very pretty. You know, this is a one and done shade for me. If I were to stop here, maybe a little eyeliner and mascara, this is the kind of look I would wear into work. I always wear makeup to work, but I do try to keep it slightly low key. This is really pretty. This is kind of giving me a little bit of what my mom's makeup looks like. This is maybe a little more gray than her Almay shade in Lilac. About the same value level as that shade for her. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I could stop right here, but I'm gonna do a little bit more. I am going to go in with a little pencil brush. This one is from Trixie Cosmetics, into Nocturama. This Nocturama color really does look deep in the pan, and I do think you could build it up, but it starts off so subtle and sheer that you can control it. That's so nice. Can you see the difference here? This is so nice. I love watching Lisa Eldridge's videos. She is someone I have admired for a while, but I've never tried any of her products. This is where it is right now. You can see the difference. This is just Mauve Decade on this eye. This is Mauve Decade in Nocturama. It's interesting to me, I bought this palette instead of the new Pat McGrath Mothership. It's interesting, it's hard for me not to compare the two. They're of course two famous English makeup artists with their own makeup lines, so I guess there's, you know, a reason to compare them. It's interesting because I think the eyeshadow formula is wildly different here, but very beautiful. They both obviously have a high degree of color intelligence. Oh, I really like this. I'm gonna use a little bit of this shade here. This is Faded Amethyst. This is the metallic shade. I'm gonna pick that up on my finger. I'm just gonna tap that just over the center of my lid. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh yeah, this is so pretty. This is so pretty and wearable. I find this metallic shade to be a lot less impactful compared to the Pat McGrath metallics, but I like it. I find it very user-friendly. It's easy not to go too far, which is important. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of this Violet Stone on my lower lash line, just for fun, just to get it in there. Oh yeah, that looks great. These shades in the pan, it reminds me a little bit of the Natasha Denona Cream to Powder Finish formula, where it looks really wild in the pan, and then when you start to use it, it's many degrees more subtle or sheer than it looks in the pan. That's what's happening here too. Just very wearable. This is so, so pretty. Should I use the topper? You guys want to see the topper, don't you? Okay, I'm gonna do the topper. So again, I'm gonna just go in with my finger here to the shade Illusionism. I'm just gonna, oh yeah, just, oh, okay. This is a little bit, oh, it's fine for a party. Okay, this is maybe a little bit, I would not wear this into work, this glitter shade, and it may be a little bit much for the party, but I'm gonna be okay with that. It's gonna be just fine. This is a very delicate little twinkle. It's interesting, it reminds me of the Pat McGrath baked shade formulas. Sometimes what you're looking for is just a little bit of gentle, elegant twinkle. And I feel like I'm getting that from this Illusionism shade. Okay, I am going to just put on a little bit of mascara. I'm going to use my favorite Clinique High Impact. I'm using the black brown shade, which I love. It's kind of subtle. It definitely puts nice deep color on the lashes without being too harsh. I would say it's my favorite mascara. Okay, this is the final result with Lisa Eldridge's Myth. For this look, I used every color except for Victorian Trim. I really like it. I find that it brings out the green in my deep hazel eyes. I really like this. I think it's very beautiful. It's definitely a purple look. I don't know how many different looks you can get from an eyeshadow palette with this color story. I think I'll wear this a lot. I do think a purple look is very flattering. Okay, so let's talk about the two lip formulas. This is the Velveteen Liquid Lip Color in Fawn. And this is the luxuriously Lucent lip color in Le Mepris. Thought they might look good on me. I don't know that they exactly go with the purpley pinks. They're not a perfect, I could have gone with maybe more like a rose or a mauve if I wanted the look to be perfect together, but I do tend to look pretty good in neutrals that are somewhat peachy, somewhat neutral. So I thought I would try that. And I like liquid lips in the souffle format. Chanel used to make a good one, and I really do like the Rare Beauty lip souffle formula, so I thought I would give this a shot. So here we go, trying this first. One of the things Lisa Eldridge said in her video about this product is that you can put it on in kind of a diffused, low-key way, and that, you know, you could build it up and do it in a more like structured lip way. And I thought this paler shade might really lend itself well to being a little more diffused, and it's very wearable. So here it is. This is with no lip liner. And what I can feel is that it dries down pretty quickly, but is comfortable and not overly drying. And it seems to cover up my natural lip color pretty well. I think I like this, and I do like this shade. This is a shade that feels very comfortable for me to wear. Sometimes if I wear something that has too much gray or is too mauve, I feel like it drags some of the color out of my face, and I sometimes like a little bit of a lighter, brighter lip just to keep my face from looking a little tired. So I have that on. This is great. I would wear this any day, anytime. Great color, comfortable formula. I like this. I'm gonna put a little bit of the lipstick on top. That looks great. I think these two colors play well together. The lipstick adds just a little bit of luminosity, which I think looks really good. Feels good. I do not detect a scent. That's nice. That's cute. I like this. This is the lipstick I'm going to wear today. I wasn't sure if I would. I wasn't sure if these colors would look good together in one look, but I think they do. I think it really is a nice balance to the purple eyeshadow. It lets the eyeshadow be the star of the show without taking over too much. I think that's great. Looks good. This is really pretty. One thing I wanted to say too about the packaging is that it's quite nice. I think it's kind of in the high-end luxury category. I wouldn't quite go full on luxury, but it is very lovely. I like that it has the two finishes of the metal. The palette itself is replaceable. You can pop out the shades here and you could replace them with different shades. You can buy singles on her website. So you could, if you wanted to take a color out of here and replace it with a different one, you could do that. I'll probably just leave this intact. It does come with a nice mirror. That's the perfect, you know, magnitude for doing your eyes. If you packed this with you and this was all you had to get ready, this is a perfectly good mirror to do that. I feel like I can see very well in it. This eyeshadow palette sells for $62, which I think puts it in the luxury high-end category. The shadows aren't huge. They're somewhat smaller, but I think that's fine. I panned a couple MAC neutrals and maybe a NARS eyeshadow duo back in the day, but I don't mind that these are, you know, maybe a little bit smaller. For the lip souffle, this is plastic. It has the satin gold top with the doe foot as we described. It's perfectly nice for a lip gloss lip product. It looks chic enough, pretty in the makeup bag. And the lipstick is quite beautiful too. It has the high shine on the interior and the satin shine on the exterior. It does have a magnetic closer, which is lovely. I feel less likely to pop off in your makeup bag, which does happen. It's terrible when a lipstick cap departs and flees the scene, leaving your lipstick to run wild inside your purse. If you've been there, you know what I mean. I think the packaging looks great. I would feel good under any setting pulling this out as my lipstick. It's very chic. So I appreciate the packaging, and I really appreciate the products that Lisa Eldridge is making. So I'm glad that I tried these. It's something that's kind of been on my mind for a while, but Pat McGrath had me in a little death grip, and I think it was time to branch out and try other, you know, artists out there and see what they're doing. I really like this, and I am glad I tried it. I really like the look this palette gave me. I think it looks pretty, and I feel like I got what I came for. This was fun for me and maybe even a little bit healing. There is other great stuff out there. Sometimes it's okay just to acknowledge that and maybe pick your head up and see what else is going around. That is what I learned from trying Lisa Eldridge's products. I hope you enjoyed watching this and maybe hearing a little bit about what has been going on with me. Have any of you tried Lisa Eldridge's products? She has a complete line including complexion, other lip products. There's a lot on her website. I really tried hard to limit myself just to like a a couple little things to try for the first time. If there's anything else you'd like me to try or anything that you'd recommend from her site, please let me know down below. I always want to hear from you. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well out there, and I hope you have a great week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Talk soon.